Rafael Devers continues to mash as he passed another Red Sox legend in an all-time list over the weekend.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part is it's all free. So you might as well take advantage and check it out because Locked On is your team every day. This episode of Locked On Red Sox is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. Happy Monday. Welcome to Locked On Red Sox and happy All-Star Week as we are at baseball's halfway point. Not literally, they have played more than half of their games, but the All-Star break is what Major League Baseball considers the halfway point. So an exciting week ahead here of just a fun home run derby later on tonight and then the All-Star game tomorrow night. I love the home run derby. I just think it's so much fun, and it's cool that Pete Alonso is participating once again for his fifth consecutive time. I think that's super cool. And I'm just looking forward to seeing all the talent over the next couple days put on full display, including Tanner Houck and Jarren Duran, both of which were voted into their first All-Star game, which is super exciting because they both totally deserve it this year. They are having great seasons, both of them. And it's just cool to be able to see a couple Red Sox players get recognized for their efforts this year. Rafael Devers did earn a spot, but he does have a nagging shoulder problem that he's dealing with. So he chose to sit out of the All-Star game because he really wants to use the break as a time to rest a nagging left shoulder issue that he's been dealing with since the start of the season. I don't fault him for that at all. I would much rather have him take the rest that he needs and not risk further damaging his shoulder because he's participating in the All-Star game to the point where he then feels like he can't play later games in the season when there's a lot of pressure on the Red Sox and it's important to be winning games. So I'd much rather have him sit out now. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future to watch Rafi play in the All-Star game. I promise you, he has so much talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing the impact that he can make on this team for the rest of the season because he surely made a statement in a big series win that the Red Sox acquired against the Royals over the weekend, a team that is neck and neck with them in the wild card standings right now. So this was a very crucial series, and the Red Sox came out of the gates not very strong on Friday night where they took a 6-1 loss. Their only run was scored when Sadam Rafaela drove it in after Jamie Westbrook hit a double. Rafaela then drove him in, and that was the Red Sox only run. And it was definitely tough because they needed to show up this weekend. And from a pitching standpoint, I mean, Cooper Criswell pitched 6 innings, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs, but only 2 of those were earned. Romy Gonzalez did make a crucial fielding error early on in the game that led to 3 unearned runs. So Criswell was not fully responsible for all of that, but he also did not look the best. And it was kind of to be expected, to be honest with you, because he came into that game having his first start in the majors in a while. He had been down at AAA and had been starting down there and hadn't really gotten the opportunity in a while to pitch in the majors. So it was to be expected that he might come back up and be a little bit rusty. And sure enough, that is what happened. Did not look the sharpest, but hopefully he's able to bounce back quickly and get back on track. But the Red Sox certainly did get back on track as they won games 2 and 3 of the series. They won on Saturday 5-0 and on Sunday 5-4. And one of the biggest standouts in the series was Rafael Devers. He crushed, and I mean crushed, a home run in Saturday's shutout win. As soon as that bat hit the ball, I knew it was gone. It was into the first row of the Green Monster seats. And it was also his 22nd home run of the season and 194th of his career. This actually ended up leading to him passing former catcher and current coach Jason Varitek for 11th on the club's all-time home runs list. So he is certainly working his way up that ladder, and he has just been on it. And it's exciting to watch, really, because this is what we need from him. He's not going to be a guy who's going to regularly hit singles and doubles like Jarren Duran. He is somebody who we might see strike out sometimes, but he also is going to throw his fair share of home runs in there and showcase his power. And he did that once again on Sunday in the Red Sox 5-4 win over KC. He had 2 hits in that game and hit another home run in that one for his 23rd of the season. And I'm telling you, he's creeping up and up on the all-time list for this Red Sox team. And it's truly remarkable seeing him play, because even though he's been dealing with this shoulder thing, he still is going out there and he's crushing the ball and he's doing what faces of franchises do and showing that he's worth every penny of that contract that the Red Sox gave him. And it's truly fantastic to have been able to witness that a lot this year. He's just been so good. And right now on the season, his batting average is up to a 295. So he's creeping up to 300 with a 378 on base percentage and 599 slugging. He's in a good spot now at the All-Star break for him to be able to come back and have a big second half. And it's been brought up before with some of the Red Sox broadcasters, and it's a good valid point that the All-Star break can be good for some teams and some players and not as good for others. In this situation, I think the All-Star break is going to be good for Devers because it'll give him some time to rest and get himself back to hopefully being 100%. And if he's not even 100% right now and he's continuing to crush home runs, imagine what he could look like in the second half. So from the standpoint of needing the extra days, absolutely, I'm totally on board with it for Devers. But with the Red Sox as a whole, you know, it's hard to know whether this is going to benefit them or not, because sometimes it backfires if players are used to playing every day and then they lose some of that momentum because they have 4 days off for the All-Star break. So then by the time they get back into it, they might struggle because it's been a bit of time. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen for this Red Sox team. I'm hoping they are able to go out there after the break and keep playing the way that they've been playing. That was a massive series win they just got, and they have a tough test coming up here in the Dodgers right after the break. And if they could pull off a series win against one of the best teams in baseball, that would be very telling. So they already are going to have to refocus themselves right away as they have an immediate challenge there. But I like the way this team is playing. This Red Sox team has been fun to watch this year, and I'm so impressed at the level of teamwork that they've displayed, with Devers just becoming more and more of a leader this year. So I love the fact that he's been really shaping into being the guy that the Red Sox want him to be, a team leader, somebody who can be relied upon to go out there and get the job done when the Red Sox need it. So good season for him so far. Hopefully he can keep that up and continue to just mash baseballs, because it's been exciting to watch, and a lot of this team in general has been exciting to watch. So looking forward to more of Rafi as the season goes on and we start to look towards playoffs, which is crazy to think about. Coming up, I'm going to be talking about a couple pitchers who were absolutely key in the series against the Royals. Is it a turnaround for one of them? You'll find out. This episode of Locked On Red Sox is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those US cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rivals' cities. With hotels, bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rivals' city. My fiance and I are trying to make it our goal to get to every major league ballpark at some point. So I'm definitely going to be using booking.com for those trips because it really is a great resource. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family friendly resorts, booking.com has so many choices across the US for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any US city, even your rivals. Book today on booking.com on the site or in the booking.com app. It really is a great resource to use when it comes to making trip reservations. So you absolutely should check it out today. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy to use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Definitely never a bad thing to have a good amount of electrical supplies and be loaded up on them. So Supply House has your back. Locked On also has you back with the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel called Locked On Sports Today. It's available on YouTube or Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app, and it will keep you up to date on all things going on in sports, no matter where you are or what time zone you are in. So make sure that you check that out today. The Red Sox earned a very good series win over the weekend against the Royals, winning 2 out of the 3 games. And the pitching is definitely to thank for a lot of that. They had 2 solid pitching performances from Kutter, Crawford, and Brayan Bello. When they shut out KC on Saturday, Crawford pitched and he looked phenomenal. 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. He just was on it. And that was one of the best I've seen from him all season long. And that's saying a lot because his ERA is a 3.04 right now. It's not like he has not been pitching well this year. Yes, he had a couple bumps in the road in May/June, but overall, he's been very reliable for this rotation. So it says a lot if I'm saying that this might have been the best performance I've seen from him all season long, because he's had a lot of good performances, but he just looked exceptional and overly locked in this game. And that's what we need to see more of from all of these starters, is just looking focused and just not getting distracted by the little things. And even if there does end up being traffic on the bases, just pounding through it. And he had barely any base traffic. I mean, the Royals could not see him well at all. And it was great for Kutter because going into the All-Star break, you want a performance like that to be your last start. You want to go back from the break with a sense of confidence that your last start was a very good one. And it was something that you can continue to build from. If you go into the All-Star break with your most recent start having been rough, that could be tough for a pitcher mentally to have to go through the entirety of the All-Star break and then have to come back, and then they could struggle after that. So that was very good for Crawford, and it couldn't have happened any better in terms of his ability to lock in and focus in his last start prior to the break. So I was really happy to see that from him. And I was also really happy to see Brayan Bello's performance. On Sunday, the Red Sox won 5-4, and Bello did give up a leadoff home run in this game. And I was sitting here saying, we're back to daytime Brayan Bello, who struggles and does not like pitching during the day. But other than that, he settled down significantly. He went 6 1/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, but just 3 runs to go along with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. He did give up another home run a little bit later on in the game. But considering the fact that Bello struggled a lot during the day last year and the fact that he has struggled overall this season, that's a quality start still. He gave the Red Sox lots of innings on Sunday, only giving up 3 runs, and that's all you can really ask for from him. He has a 5.32 ERA on the season, and if you tuned in on Friday, shout out to the everydayers who are always here with me, then you would have heard me have a conversation with Red Sox pitching coach Andrew Bailey, and I asked him, what's causing Brayan Bello to struggle this season, and, what does he need to do to get back on track? And Bailey emphasized a lot of just really attacking the zone and understanding his identity as a pitcher and staying with what works for him. And I'd be curious to know, if he has changed his identity or he thinks that he's better at different things than he used to be. But something obviously changed and he's been struggling, and it's time to reel him back in so that he can be better in the second half, because it's so important for this Red Sox pitching staff as a whole for Bello to be able to continue to develop and be reliable, because overall at the end of the day, he is going to be somebody that's going to be in this rotation for a long time. The Red Sox extended him, so they need to make sure that that money is worthwhile, and that means him being able to pitch well. So I definitely want to see more of what I saw from him on Sunday. Was it a perfect start? No, but considering everything overall, it was a good start for him. And even though he was giving up hits, he was getting out of the innings with base traffic, and that was huge. And it was something that was so promising to be able to see from him. So that was good going into the break, and hopefully he can continue to carry that momentum with him, because one thing he really has struggled with is being able to stay consistent when it comes to his outings. And he'll have a really good start one day, and then his next outing he'll struggle. So I would like to see him get back on track in that regard, in terms of being more consistent and having more clean starts regularly. But overall, I really liked what I saw from both Crawford and Bello in this series. Definitely key before the All-Star break, and key for this Red Sox team as a whole to have walked away with 2 wins against a team that has been battling back and forth with them all season long in the wild card standings, is hungry for a spot, and another team that might be surprising some people this season in terms of how well they're playing right now. So it was a crucial series for the Red Sox to win. And not only did it solidify them in that 3rd wild card spot, but it also has them only within 4.5 games of the division leading Orioles right now. And obviously, the Orioles are a very good team. They are 58-38, 20 games over 500. They've been struggling a little bit lately, though, not generating a lot of offense. And the Red Sox are 53-42. So they are not very far behind. And it's exciting to even be able to say that, because a month ago, the Red Sox were 14 games back. So now to be able to say they're only 4.5 games back heading into the All-Star break is amazing. They have the best record in baseball since May 19th, and it's just been a fun team to watch. And when you look at everything that goes into a season and all the games that are played and all the injuries that this Red Sox team has faced, to now be able to say they're in the conversation for winning the division is a remarkable thing. And you don't obviously need to win the division to go far in the playoffs. We have seen plenty of wild card teams that have gone far, the Red Sox included, but it's cool that the Red Sox are back in that mix as a team that potentially could win their division alongside the Orioles and Yankees. So hopefully they just continue to win games, because they are in a really good spot right now standings wise. And after the All-Star break, a lot of things could be determined if a team comes out of the gates hot that wasn't hot before, a team starts to get cold that was playing really well, like the Red Sox. You really never know. But this team finds different and unique ways to win, like I was talking about with Sunday's game and Kenley pitching and the guy being thrown out at third. That's a special type of play, and the Red Sox are finding ways to make plays like that and finding ways to win games. And you look at guys like Cedar Rafaela and Jaron Duran and David Hamilton, all super talented young players who have really started to blossom and develop this season and have come a long way. And they've been really key to the Red Sox success this year. And then you look at Tanner Houck and you look at guys like Kutter, Crawford, who I mentioned before, two very valuable arms in the starting rotation. And from a bullpen standpoint, you have Zach Kelly, Justin Slayton, Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin, guys who have been consistently reliable for this Red Sox team. And we knew going into the season that there would be some guys the Red Sox would have that would be excited to watch, Jaron Duran being one of those players. But people didn't expect them to have as many reliable players as they do. And that's what makes it really exciting, is their ability to just have a group of guys who are hungry to win and want to win and are really doing what it takes to win. So I'm excited to see where they go from here after the break. I'm excited to continue to watch the development of Kutter, Crawford, and Brayan Bello. And I'm hoping that this could be a turning point for Bello and that he goes off and has a better second half, because that's going to be really valuable for this Red Sox team if he goes in there and is able to pitch consistently well in this second half, because it's going to be really hard for teams to want to face this Red Sox team if that's the case, because they already are pitching well overall as a staff. Imagine if they add Brayan Bello into the mix, a really solid, strong, good version of Brayan Bello like we've seen in past seasons. Then look out, league, because this team is fun and they deserve to be in this conversation about potentially winning their division. So hopefully exciting things to come. Again, lots that they're going to be tested on in this second half. But if they play their version of baseball and they don't move away from their identity and what has helped them to win a lot of games, then we will see them be successful in the second half. The Boston Red Sox made a first-round draft pick on Sunday night at number 12 overall. And coming up, I'm going to be talking about that pick that Boston made. If you're looking for the best place to get last-minute deals on tickets, Game Time is 100% the best place. I know I sometimes get into the habit of not planning ahead enough times, and I get stuck in a situation where I want to go last minute to a game. It actually happened last week with a Red Sox game where I was in the area, didn't think I was going to be, or that I was going to end up going, and ended up going last minute. And I used Game Time to score a last minute ticket for a great price. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. There are so many different events that Game Time has on it, like games, concerts, comedy shows, whatever you're looking to do for your entertainment, you can get cheaper tickets from them. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. They really do make your life so easy and guarantee you the lowest prices and a good view from your seat. So definitely check them out today. And also check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All of our experts here at Locked On will keep you up to date in all things going on in sports, no matter where you are. So if you don't want to have to worry about scrolling through Twitter to get your information, we have you covered. Check that out today as well. With it being All-Star Week and lots of exciting things happening between the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game, also included in that mix has been the MLB draft that started last night and then takes place again today and tomorrow. And the Red Sox picked 12th in the first round this year. And with that pick, they selected outfielder Braden Montgomery from Texas A&M. So what's interesting about him is he didn't spend all of his time in college at Texas A&M. He's actually a transfer student. He's been a fascinating prospect since he was in high school. He ended up going undrafted out of Madison Central High School in Mississippi because teams knew he had a strong commitment to play at Stanford, which is where he originally committed to college. He was a rare switch hitting outfielder that also happened to be a pitcher on the days that he wasn't at the plate just smoking baseballs. Ultimately, the experiment as a pitcher didn't come to fruition when he went to college, but it definitely happened for him as a hitter. He brought a ton of power to both teams. He crushed 35 home runs in 2 seasons with the Stanford Cardinal and then transferred to Texas A&M for his junior year, and that's when he really took off as a legitimate draft prospect. He has one of the biggest power tools in the draft class, according to MLB Pipeline. He had one of the most prodigious power seasons in school and conference history at Texas A&M. His 27 home runs finished short of the school's single season record of 34 home runs, which had been set in 1999. But his power outburst was really no joke at all. He had included some home runs that were upwards of 450 feet, with several multi-homer games and a grand slam at a big league ballpark when he hit one on March 3rd against Arizona State at Globe Life Field. So he definitely is going to be a hitter who can provide that power and hit a lot of home runs, but he is also good in other areas of his game too. He walked 53 times while striking out 59 times this past season and posted a healthy 322 batting average with a 454 on base percentage. Pipeline has about a 50 grade for his speed and defense, which is average, but he has a plus throwing arm that ultimately has him as an above average right fielder, which is great. And the speed hopefully will come over time. His offense is a lot stronger than his defense, so that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on as he works his way through the Red Sox system. But he should be an exciting player to watch. When he was drafted, he was just talking about in his interview how he just wants to be the best player out there, and he's going to do everything that he possibly can to be the best player out there on the field. And he was just beaming, and it's because he was just so excited to be drafted, especially by, one of the biggest and just most historic organizations in baseball history. So that's got to be a cool feeling for him to just be able to say, I'm playing for the Boston Red Sox. And that's a cool moment for him. He has a father who played 1 season of college football at Iowa in 1995. And then he also has a stepfather who also played football there from 1995 to 97. So he just has an athletic family. His mom, Gretchen, ran track at Iowa, and his uncle, Larry, played 1 season as a running back at Arizona State. So lots of Iowa grads in the family and 1 Arizona State, but they were all athletes in college, none baseball, but the athletic prowess was definitely in his bloodline. And I'm anxious to see how his skills translate over into the Red Sox system, because he has a lot of offensive versatility in terms of his ability to crush baseballs, but also play a little bit of small ball and get himself on base, because his batting average has been able to increase over time. So I'm curious if when he gets to the professional level, he's going to move away from some of those techniques that he's learned, or if he's going to be able to continue to showcase what he can do well and continues to do a mix of both when he gets to the pro level. So it'll be fun to watch him and see how he navigates through the Red Sox system. But what you have to remember about these draft prospects is most of the time it takes a while for them to work their way through the system. So if he is still in the Red Sox system after a while, then we eventually might see him on the playing field at Fenway, but it likely won't be for a long time, especially with the outfield situation the Red Sox have now and just a crowded group of players, a lot of them being young, who have a lot of upside and are playing well, like Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, Roman Anthony, who's in the rafters waiting to come up. So they have an interesting situation right now. And then if you add Cedar Rafaela to the mix, who plays both in the infield and the outfield, they don't necessarily need an outfielder right now. And that's okay because you don't draft for a need in the MLB draft. You draft the best available player, no matter what position that player plays, because there are just so many levels in baseball to getting to the majors that you can switch positions from what you were drafted as. So even though he was drafted as an outfielder, he might not necessarily end up being an outfielder down the road. And then if that's the case and the Red Sox decide to switch him around, then maybe he plays a different position based on an area of need that the Red Sox have. So the idea during the draft is not to draft a player that you feel fits a need for your team at the time, because they won't be ready to play up in the majors anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The point is more to draft players that down the road could make an impact because they have the raw talent and they impressed in either high school or college, wherever they played prior to being drafted. So that's really where the focus is when you're drafting players at this level. But I'm excited to see him play. I'm intrigued by his skill set. Definitely lots of potential there with the bat, and the defense could hold him back a little bit from his ability to work his way through the system quicker. But I'm hoping it's something that he can continue to develop. And with the speed, the Red Sox have speed on their roster right now. So he doesn't necessarily have to be the fastest guy. But again, that's a skill that has allowed guys like Jarren Duran and David Hamilton to really be successful and solidify themselves as regulars on the roster for this Red Sox team. You need to have skills that are unique that you can bring to the table that are very valuable to a team being able to put up runs and score. So if he's able to just improve in the areas of defense and speed a little bit, he could be a really solid player for the Red Sox to add to the organization. So I'm definitely intrigued by him, excited to see what he can do and the skills he can bring to the table when he puts on that Boston Red Sox uniform and just works his way up through our system. He seems like he works really hard and is just so motivated to want to succeed and be the best he can be. And those are the types of players that we want on this roster. So I'm rooting for him. Hopefully he's able to work his way through the system and can play at Fenway in a Red Sox uniform one day. Enjoy All-Star Week, the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. It'll all be great. The Red Sox are on some well-deserved rest right now, unless your name is Jarren Duran or Tanner Houck. But everybody else will enjoy the break. And then in a few days, the Red Sox will be back in a series against the Dodgers. Hopefully they can get a solid series win there. That would be absolutely huge. As always, though, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.